I spend most of my time looking down, swiping, scrolling, tapping through a world that isn't really there. I spend 8 months of my year going to school in Washington, D.C. The hustle, the pressure, sometimes it feels like it could just crush me. But when I come home for the summer, the noise fades, the screen goes dark, and something real begins to surface. Spearfishing pulls me out of my feet and into the current. No cell service, no pings, just breath, instinct, and water. This is the story of my favorite day of every year, the first day of summer, when I can finally sit back, relax, and unplug. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of, wait for it, One Up, One Down Adventures. Name change, it's here. We're gonna figure it out. I'm not like completely married to it. We're gonna dive. We got good viz. There's fish, little spade fish. Look right there. Yeah, no, it was like over there. It's fine. Look, it's like a big school of spades though. Forget your mask.
I didn't forget.
Who forgot him? Put him on blast. Welcome back underwater, everybody, and I will not be telling the entire world who lost Evan's mask, but you all know who you are. The situation has been resolved, if anyone's interested. I just like giving people a hard time. First dive of the day. Viz looks great for the Gulf. I'm currently diving at Hawaii and learning that good viz for the Gulf is like they won't even dive it in Hawaii. It's hilarious. They sent me in for a viz check and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And yeah, but that'll be in the Hawaii video. Anyway, I'm down for the first dive of the summer since, first dive in basically months. Looking around, I want mangrove snapper. They're delicious, they're tasty. I want some. Evan's right next to me. We're stalking. We're moving a lot more than we normally would on the bottom, and that's because we're antsy. I see this mangrove snapper, lining up on it, waiting for him to come in. Once I find the fish that I want to find, I sit still and try to let him come to me. At least I did that part right. And then a different one comes in, and boom. That's why you sit on the bottom. Don't swim around down there. There's nothing. It'll come to you if you hunt right.
Yo, there's some nice ones.
Anyway, next dive, and I am also with Evan, but this time hopefully I get on one. I already know whether or not I get on one, but you guys are going to find out. We're on the way down, and again, we're doing this kind of swimming thing. You see that school of mangroves at Sheep's Head? We probably would have been much better off if we had laid down in that sand and just sat there instead of swimming in towards the structure. But again, it's the first time we dove in months, and we were pretty antsy. At least here, when we get to the structure, we stop and just kind of wait for them to come out towards us. But pulling them towards the edge of the structure is always better. The sand is a great place to hang out. Anyway, Evan's about to pull the trigger right here. You can tell he's lining up on something. He wants it. I felt good about my breath holds on this trip, given how long it'd been since I dove. I was like, this is pretty killer. And I am aware you all can make your jokes about us renaming the channel to One Up, One Down and immediately being tandem dives, but this is 30 feet. So, sees mango, pull the trigger, runs back into this pipe, and I go back there and grab them. On a very separate note, though, the channel name change came as a result of the fact that it was called Crystal Hook Fishing, and we didn't do any fishing, and we don't really use any hooks. And as the channel grew, I wanted it to be more clear that this is a spearfishing channel now. If you go way back to my first few videos, my old videos, there's bass fishing and inshore fishing stuff, and it's kind of cool. Sometimes I go back and rewatch them because I was little. Not that little. I was a freshman in high school when I posted them. But yeah, so I threw that mango on my shooting line, And I got right back down to business, and this time I'm kind of gliding from the top of the structure to the sand because I'm not actually hunting this piece of structure. We're looking out towards a pipe that we knew the mangoes were sitting on. So now I'm actually doing it correctly. I'm just like using my hand to crawl forward a little bit towards the structure, but sitting out in the sand and waiting for these fish to move out towards me. You can see that gap between all the structure where they're hanging out. Pull the trigger, get another little mango. I hate it when the shaft gets stuck like that, when it's like not really stuck, but it still requires you to go back down to get it. Double mango. Love when that happens. These aren't like monsters by any means. We're diving shallow, but they certainly made delicious tacos. Reloaded. Got a couple mangoes on the stringer now. You gotta be careful with adding too many fish or too big of fish to your stringer because the drag starts to make it harder to move your gun through the water efficiently. Like, it is hard. You can't like hip fire with it. I don't really do much hip firing, but you know, aiming quickly becomes a nuisance. Alright, back down. This is a few dives later. I'm on a different little piece of structure. There's some sheep's head around, but they're small, and I also don't really like eating sheep's head that much. Anyway, I'm looking out towards where those sheep's head are in the very back that you just saw. That's where I'm thinking that these mangoes are going to come out of. And I'm grunting, hanging out behind this pipe, trying to hide my body as much as possible. And I end up getting proven wrong. This guy kind of comes and surprises me, and I miss.
Got a couple nice mangoes.
After that, we change spots, reloading the gun, getting down to the bottom. Speaking of reloading, I hate loaded guns on a boat. I recently learned about a kid in Hawaii who was just killed by a loaded spear gun on the boat. It went off when he was trying to get in. So always unload your guns before getting in the boat. Stone that mango. More tacos for me. This is a cool little spot though with all these barrels. I don't know if we call it the barrels, but they're just like circular shaped things.
Oh, hell yeah, baby!
And Buddy got a hogfish, so I'm getting out the big camera, filming him with his first nice hogfish. Then Evan takes this shot, and now I take another dive. On my way down here, we are off the barrels now. There's some pipes right by them. And I'm looking around for some mangoes. These are actually slabs, not pipes. Sorry, I misspoke. Nice mango there, and then hogfish just drifts in. And this is one of those spots where all those mangoes, as soon as you shoot something, they just spook into the inside of those slabs, and you just never see them again. So after landing this guy, I get out the flashlight to see if I can't work some of my magic on these mangoes. Hate it when the shaft gets stuck like that. Just like it's not really actually stuck, but it's stuck enough that you have to go down and grab it. Now I have to like back dive this fish that isn't actually stuck, waving everybody else over because they were diving off the spot. I'm going back down to get this not really stuck shaft unstuck. The other reason it sucks, which was made very clear by the rest of this summer, is it'll get stuck and the fish will like struggle. This one was stoned, but the fish will struggle and the sharks will just come in and smoke it. Because the fish is on the shooting line and it's freely swimming up way above the shaft. But I got this hogfish with no problem. Bringing him in tubies. Much bigger than I thought when he was in the water. The big camera out. Don't do what I'm about to do to my big camera. That was dumb. Don't do that. It'll scratch your dome. and doing a little spot moving. The navigation unit on this Panga is really nice. Getting back in the water. Do a little breathe up and taking my drop. We're basically over the same sets of slabs. I just moved the boat so that it was actually over them. And you can see there's no more big mangoes on the top or around them, right? They're all in there. So I have my dive light and I'm looking inside the slabs to try to get me a big mango. I shine right here, I see this guy, and I take a rush shot and miss. It's a good thing I missed too, because I would have hit him in the tail and he would have just swam back in there and flared his gills, and it would have been such a pain to get out. And when you shoot a mango in the tail, you're basically ruining like half the fillet, because the fish aren't like monsters. Alright, now I'm back down, different spot now, mango right here. Try not to hit him in the fillet, so I stoned him. Nice little mango. None of the ones this day were monsters, but the next few videos, you're gonna see some monster mangoes. Heading up, and again, the shaft gets stuck, but it's not like really actually stuck. It's just like kind of back in the hole, and one of the floppers is like wedged up against something. So I have to come down and back dive this thing, even though I stoned it. It's not struggling. It's not back in the hole. Look at that. Wasn't stuck at all. It was just hanging out in the back of the hole. The fish is like floating above the line, which again, if you don't stone it and it's doing that, it's like a shark magnet. It's like a shark flasher rig. Not good. Get to the surface though. I got my little buddy. Throw him in the boat. Look at this. As soon as I get down, nice hogfish. I love when the hogfish just surprise you, because it's the beginning of summer, so the hogfish are starting to move out a little deeper. They shouldn't be this shallow, but they were, and it was a nice little surprise. Another like great hogfish for this shallow. 2 on the day, plus the one that one of our dive buddies shot into the boat. This is my last fish of the day. Looking around for another hogfish. Probably won't see him though on these dives. Like this time of year, this shallow, it's hard to find him. Unless you got like the juice spots. I've got some spots that are shallower, but like in a completely different part of the state that produce hogfish a lot during this time of year. I'm looking at this mango in this hole. Like, I know he's gonna come out. I know he's gonna come out. Boom. Stoned him. It's just a waiting game with those fish. And sorry for my hair getting in the way again. Anyway, that's all I got for the diving portion of this video. I'll see you guys next week for the next episode.
Alright, we're done. Evan's flexing. We're gonna go cook him up.
We got the day, Evan. Taco time.
Taco Tuesday.
Loading them up.